you know. And I definitely want to shout out the Circle of Brotherhood because I like what those guys are doing down here in.
Take our crown to the right, stretch it out.
The Circle of Brotherhood, we are a volunteer organized group of primarily black men from all walk of life. Some of us are from the streets, some of us are from the suites, some are Muslims, some are Christians, some are activists. Some people work in an office, a 9 to 5, some people run their own businesses, but we're collectively united together to solve our own community problems. We've been in existence as an organized group of men since 2012, and the dedication and the volunteer hours and times that men have spent has proven to political leadership that not only are they serious, they're not going anywhere, but wow, they're effective. Some things are just about repetition and training. We've been so used to doing things the wrong way that when we're trying to do it the right way, our mind's like, yo, what you doing? You tripping. It's not always the complicated things that we need to be including into our life to have a better life. Make sense?
We're going to be our own directory today, all right? So we want to introduce ourselves and introduce what we do so that we know what you do and know that we can tap into you if we need your gifts and your talents.
I do landscaping and groundskeeping for the city of Miami, Miami-Dade County.
I work at the airport.
I'm an accountant, current firefighter paramedic.
I work for the city of Miami CRA.
I hired 60 kids this summer to get them off the streets.
I used to be cancerous to my community. I found the cure. I am my
How many of y'all remember the shooting that took place in Liberty Square where 4 young men were shot and 2 lost their lives? We stepped back and took a look at our whole community, said, what do we really need to do? And we developed a plan from there. And it seemed like for the first time in a long time, a lot of our political leaders and officials were really ready to listen. Wait, back up. Some of y'all ain't been down this road before, right? When you come with a real solution, but you ain't got no real time to make nothing for real happen. And then we end up going into a vicious cycle of trying to get the problem solved in our community. We promise not to do that. Who do we serve?
Our community.
Brotherhood. One brother.
One hood.
Who do we serve?
Our community.
Who do we serve?
Our community.
Clap it up if you're still here. Do that. Who do we serve?
Our community.
Brotherhood. One brother.
One hood.
Who do we serve?
Our community.
Who do we serve?
Our community.
Clap it up if you're still here.
Down there a couple of weeks ago, Fish, when they had their, what was it, the press conference, right? Yeah. And Sabrina Fulcher was there.
Yeah.
And quite a few other people as well, police chiefs from around Miami-Dade County. It was a beautiful event, man. I like what those guys are doing, and I like the fact that we here in Miami, Miami, Florida, and Liberty City, Miami Gardens, we're all trying to get this thing together. Everybody's active. I like that. I like the fact that everybody's active.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's continue with the Brotherhood, man. We're going to take a look back at Trayvon Martin event with Sabrina Fulton and the family as well, and more of the Brotherhood, as this is what we got to do around this country. We can't just rely on Black Lives Matter.
Look at the fabulous ladies. Get your sorority.
We're in Miami Gardens, man. We're at the 7th annual Trayvon Martin Peace Walk, Peace Talk. This is Serving Minister Anthony Durden, representing the Circle of Brotherhood, black men solving our own community problems.
Yeah. Y'all stepping on. Make some noise again for Delta Sorority!
But we just want to send a clear message out, and we want people to get involved and participate and not just like something on social media.
When black people have memory, people tend to get mad. Why can't you get over it? Because we ain't over it. Because it ain't over. Because it's still going on. Because the Trayvon Martins of the world are still being subject to vicious acrimony, white supremacy, social injustice, and blackface. Want to have a black face but don't want to have a black body. Want to have a black face but don't want no black spirit. Want to have a black face but don't want no black consequences. And so I'm here to remind you, to remind us that Trayvon is still real. Come to the picnic, you just can't come to the rally. You gotta rally yourself and get to that voting booth. That's why black women have saved us in America. Black women voted Doug Jones in down in Alabama so that for the first time in 20 some odd years, a Democratic senator came from Alabama. Don't just go to church on Sunday. Don't just pray on Wednesday prayer meeting. Don't just go to choir rehearsal. Get off of your behind and get out here to make sure that justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Peace.
Our electoral outcomes really do turn on turnout. There's not a lot of incentive to participate in the process because these 4-year and 2-year election cycles, to you, they can come and go and your life never changes. We can be as frustrated, we can march all day, we can protest all day, we can make phone calls and tweet all we want. But until we actually capture the seats of power and the votes to actually make the change, we're gonna find ourselves in this perpetual cycle.
What would make you choose to starve yourself?
9 members of the Circle of Brotherhood, a Miami-based nonprofit organization, have been on a hunger strike for the past 6 days protesting gun violence. Today, Miami Mayor Francis Suarez and Police Chief George Colina visited the group's camp to offer their support.
Hey, Brady, that's my nephew, the second one right there, in front of you. No.
Our immediate goal is to create that internal dialogue. So many people have been desensitized to the issue of gun violence, particularly when it happens in urban communities. So not just to re-stimulate that conversation, but to also bring national and international awareness to an issue and to connect people to collaborate together on it.
The goal is awareness. The goal is awareness, man, to bring attention to a dying need. It's been a very personal and emotional experience for me to see these shirts hanging on, the precious lives that were lost right here. I was actually at the bedside when the doctors walked in and pronounced him dead when they pulled the plug. This is an epidemic.
Who's your group? Boy, if you don't get over there in your group.
When you talk, it's just like a relationship. You need to say what you need to say. You need to say what you feel so people can understand you.
Hey, Miss Bobby. I could ask you about the community.
Push it over.
Who got the questions?
What's something that you would want to see to better the community? Like, what's something you think that could be used to better the community?
If you stay focused, you got to stay focused. All kind of shit can be going on right there at 1310. We live in 1311. We don't care. We look out the window what's going on. We don't never open our door with something going on. Thank y'all for being interested in the history out here, because it does mean something.
Right now, I feel like it's a good privilege to be out here, talk about the walk. A lot of people don't know about it,
Because it's still history, it's black history,
Yeah.
and it means something to us. Segregation isn't over, but it's not completely over. Some people trying to bring it back.
I swear to God, I never knew this. Like, I drove by here so many times. To come here and see this wall, to sit here and hearing people, what they had to say about it, it's crazy.
Maybe we need to put a sign up.
Yeah, like, oh, we could do that, put a sign.
Letting
like,
people know the real meaning. 'Cause I always used to run through them bins, though. Police escorting us out, telling us not to come back. How you gonna tell me not to come back to my own hood?
it's crazy.
This one right here it says he was missing.
Yeah.
Does that mean he was missing?
No, that means they're missing him. He died and his family misses him.
This is a lot of people.
You feel like wherever there's a lot of black people, there's a lot of bad going on. I can't go anywhere without being looked at as someone who I'm not. I'm not a gangster, neither do I want to be a gangster. But wherever I go, I'm portrayed as a gangster. Whenever I get together with my friends, we play basketball, we have fun. We listen to music, we eat hot dogs and party. But people don't look at it that way. They always put us in a negative light, which is not always fair. At least get to know me before you judge me. That's all I want. And party. But people don't look at it that way. They always put us in a negative light, which is not always fair. At least get to know me before you judge me.
Yeah, you see what, Fish? I like what that young man said right there. At least get to know me before you judge me. You know what I'm saying?